You've seen creepy old portraits, but these aren't portraits. They're medical evidence of a time when the boundary between care and cruelty barely existed. Over 10 documented moments, we'll explore the strange beauty and terror of Victorian healing. Skin tinted back to life, limbs replaced with machinery, and treatments that believed pain was purification. By the end, you may not know whether these photos were meant to comfort, impress, or warn. Number 1. Surgical operations without anesthesia. A silent figure lies restrained on the table, surrounded by men in heavy aprons, stiff with dried blood. No anesthesia, no comfort, only the surgeon's calm precision and the rough grip of his assistants. Before ethers spread, pain was treated as proof of endurance, a grim companion to healing. Every second mattered. Surgeons practiced until an amputation could be finished in under 2 minutes, speed replacing tenderness as the ultimate skill. The operating theater became both workplace and stage, where agony met efficiency. Years later, photographs captured these scenes not as suffering, but as evidence of expertise. The blur of hands, the gleam of metal, everything framed as technical triumph. Each image advertised mastery over chaos, turning human pain into a polished display of progress, a strange intersection of brutality and pride, frozen in silver and light. Number 2. Medical students with cadavers. A group of young doctors stands proudly around a cadaver, their faint smiles captured beneath polished hair and crisp white coats. For them, this moment marks initiation, the passage from lecture hall to the theater of anatomy. The body before them is both lesson and proof. A quiet teacher turned into curriculum. Dissection carried prestige, but its supply came through darker channels. Before legal donation, grave robbers and body traders fed the demand, transforming corpses into commodities. Still, the resulting photographs were trophies of education, evidence of skill earned through confrontation with death. Each image balanced pride and discomfort, professionalism and possession. The dead were unnamed, stripped of biography, yet immortalized through the students who studied them. Their anonymity became a strange form of preservation, erasing identity, but ensuring the student's legacy endured in every silent frame. Number 3. Leech therapy and bloodletting. A patient lies still, neck and shoulders covered with glistening black leeches that twitch and feed. Each was believed to draw out disease, restoring the body's balance by releasing what doctors called bad blood. The method promised renewal through depletion, a ritual of subtraction disguised as medicine. Photography soon turned these scenes into evidence. Clinical albums preserved the moment before and after, proof that a body once pale could appear cleansed by loss. The calm expressions of doctors framed the act as skill, not cruelty. Yet pain lingered quietly. Patients bled, fainted, and risked infection from unwashed instruments or the leeches themselves. Still, this pursuit of purity fit its age. To Victorians, draining blood mirrored a moral cleansing, an attempt to purge corruption, not just from the body, but from the spirit of a world eager to make suffering look righteous. Number 4. Amputation tools and bone saws. A row of iron instruments gleams under cold light, arranged with the care of a banquet display. Bone saws, scalpels, and clamps lie polished and orderly, trophies of precision in an age built on endurance. Each grip and tooth was designed for speed. Seconds mattered more than comfort. Surgeons treated these tools like extensions of their own bodies, symbols of mastery before sterilization was law. Between operations, they wiped blood onto aprons, trusting steady hands more than hygiene. Infection shadowed every cut, yet success meant finishing before the patient's strength failed. Photographers later documented these surgical kits as icons of progress, not warnings. The displays resembled industrial catalogs, celebrating mechanism over mercy. In those still images, healing appeared mechanical, detached from the body's pain, a view of medicine shifting from human art to the machinery of repair. Number 5. Dental extractions in public. At the edge of a bustling fairground, a barber surgeon tugs at a trembling patient's jaw, while a crowd leans closer. The pull, the scream, and the triumphant wave of a bloody tooth form the day's entertainment. Tooth extraction lived halfway between medicine and theater, a show of nerve and speed that proved a practitioner's steady hand. These performances offered spectacle disguised as care. Pain was part of the draw, advertised as proof of modern efficiency. Photographers later captured the evolution: metal chairs with straps, sets of polished pliers, turning spectacle into study. The restraint once meant for drama became a tool for standardization. In those still photographs, dentistry appears staged, suspended between carnival and clinic. Both promised relief, both required trust, and both sold the same illusion: pain controlled and suffering refined into demonstration. Number 6. Asylum medical treatments. A patient sits bound in heavy restraint cloth, eyes unfocused, framed by a bare wall, and the cameras stare. These portraits filled asylum archives, each intended to define disorder through posture, expression, and stillness. Doctors claimed that order could cure through hydrotherapy baths, spinning chairs, or long hours of isolation that promised calm through control. Photography served their logic. Faces became data points, studied like specimens instead of people. Reformers trusted the camera to measure improvement or regression, believing progress could be captured on a plate. Institutions displayed these records to prove discipline and method. Yet time reversed their message. Where Victorians saw evidence of healing, modern viewers see restraint, exhaustion, and systematic observation. The same images now trace the earliest roots of psychiatry, an experiment in compassion conducted under the watchful lens of surveillance. Number 7. Early prosthetics and limb experiments. A metal arm rests beside its owner, the two nearly matching in form and size. Photographers arranged these prosthetics in deliberate symmetry, treating them less as aids and more as mechanical companions. Each limb promised restoration after war or factory injury, giving survivors a sense of wholeness in a world that prized industry over comfort. The design was elegant but unforgiving. Leather straps rubbed against healing flesh, brass joints clicked like clockwork, and polished steel carried the chill of permanence. Photos of these experiments highlighted craftsmanship and fit, more sculpture than medicine. In their gleaming stillness, the images reflect a longing to master decay. Victorians hoped that technology could rescue what biology betrayed. Every prosthetic portrait suggested rebirth: flesh recast in metal, life imitating machine, a fragile triumph standing between human loss and mechanical creation. Number 8. Infant care experiments. An infant swaddled in gauze lies beneath a forest of thin tubes, a hospital study reduced to a portrait of survival. Victorian hospitals often merged compassion with curiosity, where neglect from baby farming and malnutrition pushed medicine to experiment in the name of care. Feeding formulas, early incubators, and even restraints turned newborns into controlled subjects rather than patients. The photographs documenting these tests displayed data, not tenderness. Lined rows of bassinets meant to quantify endurance. Each image celebrated progress while ignoring what couldn't be measured: warmth, comfort, attention. To these physicians, the infant's body served as evidence of modern technique, not vulnerability. The paradox remains haunting. Children captured to prove benevolence, yet treated like materials for study. Their faint movements recorded not as life, but as a test of how much suffering looked like science. Number 9. The first X-ray experiments. A faint handprint hovers on glass, bones glowing, flesh erased. The first X-rays blurred the line between science and mysticism, exposing what had always been hidden beneath skin. Shadows turned into anatomy, every photograph an invitation to see life's invisible frame. But wonder carried a cost. Early experimenters burned their hands, suffered illness, and yet kept testing. Fascinated by light that passed through solid form, each exposure felt alchemical, both dangerous and divine. Spiritualists saw proof of the soul's transparency. Scientists saw proof of progress. To viewers, the luminous bones looked like relics of mortality itself. The X-ray transformed curiosity into revelation, turning science into an art of exposure. These haunting images became the century's new reminder that the living body is both structure and ghost, visible, yet always on the edge of disappearance. Number 10. Post-mortem photography. A small child lies posed beside flowers, eyelids painted to mimic waking, lips faintly tinted with color. The camera frames stillness as sleep, transforming death into tenderness through artful control of light. In a world without motion pictures or instant memories, families relied on these portraits as their only image of farewell. Photographers softened shadows, lifted heads with hidden supports, and brushed warmth onto pale skin. Each image promised gentle continuity instead of loss. Prints were exchanged among relatives, carried in lockets, or displayed in parlors as proof that love endured beyond breath. In these memorials, the boundary between biology and image vanished. The photograph stood in for the absent body, comfort disguised as likeness. Post-mortem photography completed Victorian medicine's visual story, where the body, once treated and displayed, finally became a cherished possession captured forever in light. Victorian medicine turned death into a visual craft, part science, part art, part trade. Each image sought proof that meaning could survive decay. Photographs of operations, experiments, and memorials all shared one fixation: to make the body legible. Even when it had failed, the lens recorded not cruelty alone, but human need, to preserve, to understand, to remember. And though the tools and settings have changed, modern medicine still stages its own images of care. Clinical scans, digital displays, and memorial portraits continue the same fascination, quietly asking whether healing today is free from spectacle or only better lit.